Staying awake all night and sleeping all day isn't for everyone. For me, though, it's always come naturally. As a kid, I could never fall asleep at night, so I'd doze off in class instead. I lost count of how many times I jolted awake to my teacher yelling my name while my classmates stared and giggled. When I turned 16, I had to decide what to do with my life. Since I was always awake at night, I figured I might as well get paid for it. I looked intimidating enough, tall, broad, with a gym-built frame, so I figured working security would be easy money. Truth is, I'm not half as tough as I look, but my appearance usually keeps people from testing that. After a few uneventful years of night shifts, warehouses, fast food places, a university or two, my boss called me into his cramped office and made me an offer. He needed someone to guard a small hospital for 3 nights. The pay was triple my usual rate. All I had to do was stay awake, keep watch, and follow some special instructions. Sounded simple enough. I said yes immediately. Declining would have been stupid. I remember the relief on my boss's face when I agreed. Apparently nobody else wanted the job. "You'll start next Thursday," he said, shaking my hand firmly. "You bet, sir," I replied, grinning. I felt proud, eager to prove myself, maybe even earn a raise if I did well. The week leading up to the job crawled by. I killed time pulling shifts at a McDonald's in a sleepy university library. Nothing ever happened on those nights, just how I liked it. When Thursday finally came, I left early. It was only a 30-minute drive, but I didn't want to risk being late. Plus, I figured it would help to get familiar with the place before my shift officially started. It was my first time guarding a hospital. Seemed smart to know the layout in case something went wrong. Traffic was heavier than I expected, so I pulled into the hospital lot at 8:40 p.m. The building looked more like an old monastery than a hospital. Small, 3 floors high, built from weathered bricks and arched windows that gave it a Romanesque vibe. Quaint, but kind of unsettling too. Inside, a woman at the front desk greeted me with a warm, calm smile that instantly settled my nerves. "Hi, I'm Jake. I'm here for the night shift. I know I'm early. I'm supposed to start at 10. She asked for my name, typed it into her ancient computer, and then asked, "Your boss is Michael, right?" "Yes, ma'am." "Perfect. One of our other security guards will be here soon to show you the ropes. Would you like some coffee while you wait?" "Black, if you don't mind." She returned a few minutes later with the best hospital coffee I'd ever tasted. Not that the bar was very high. Just as I drained the last sip, a massive man in a security uniform appeared. He sized me up with a skeptical frown. He must have been 6'7" with shoulders like a fridge. "You're the new guy," he grumbled. "Didn't expect you to be this young. Doesn't matter. Follow my instructions exactly and you'll be fine." I stood and offered him my hand. "Nice to meet you, sir. I assume you'll be showing me around." He ignored my handshake. "Follow me." We walked to the security room first. He ran me through the cameras and the basic routine. Nothing new to me, but just as he was about to leave, he paused. "Oh, one last thing," he said, pointing to a sheet of paper on the desk. "That's a list of special rules. Read it. Follow every single one. No exceptions. If you don't, we'll know." Before I could ask what that meant, he was gone. I sat down, half amused, and read the paper. There were 7 rules. They made no sense. 1. Be in the security room by 10 p.m. Between 10:15 and 11 p.m., patrol the whole building. If you find anyone, politely ask them to leave. 2. Between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., a young woman might knock on the front door asking to see her husband. Ignore her completely until she leaves. 3. Keep the ICU lights on all night. If they go out, turn them back on immediately. If you hear screaming while they're off, run to the nearest bathroom and hide until it stops. 4. If you see a little girl with a teddy bear in the cafeteria, sit beside her silently. If she looks at you, return to the security room. If she speaks, answer until she leaves. 5. At 1 a.m., check the general ward. If a patient is sitting up, ask if they're okay, and do whatever they ask. If they try to chat, ignore it. 6. If it starts raining, open the front door to let people take shelter, but make sure they all leave afterwards. If anyone is unaccounted for, you'll see them on the cameras. Do not look at them. 7. If the security cameras turn off at any point, hide. Pray they don't find you. I laughed out loud when I finished. This had to be a joke. A test to see if I'd blindly follow orders? Whatever, I'd play along. At 10 p.m., I watched the clock click over while I flipped through the camera feeds. Everything looked normal. Empty hallways, a quiet front entrance, the dark parking lot. I scrolled my phone to kill time until my patrol. By 10:15 p.m., I stretched my legs and stepped out. I figured I'd start at the top floor and work my way down. Thank God for the elevator. No way I was taking the stairs that many times. The third floor was deserted. Same for the second. Not a soul. I checked my phone. 10:32 p.m. Enough time to finish the first floor. I found it strange, though. A whole hospital, but no staff, no patients. Maybe they moved everyone for renovations. Maybe my boss really did hire actors to mess with me. Near the ICU on the first floor, I spotted an old man in a hospital gown standing alone. I stopped cold. Rule 1. I cleared my throat. "Excuse me, sir. You're not supposed to be here right now. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." He looked at me, blank and silent. I repeated myself. He nodded, shuffled to the door, and stepped into the darkness. Right before he vanished, he turned back and whispered, "Be careful of the surgeon." I tried to laugh it off. Must be part of the prank. I checked the rest of the floor, grabbed another coffee and a croissant from the cafeteria, and headed back to the security room just before 11. I leaned back in my chair, phone in my hand, feeling proud of myself. I'd passed the first test, whatever it was. A while later, I glanced at the clock. Nearly midnight. My eyes drifted to the cameras. My stomach dropped. The ICU lights were off. I cursed my underbed and hurried down the hallway. Halfway there, the screaming started, raw, terrible, echoing down the empty corridors. A door slammed. Footsteps. Something, or someone, was coming. I ran. The bathroom door slammed behind me. I locked myself in a stall, heart pounding so hard I thought I'd faint. Outside, the footsteps stopped. Then the bathroom door creaked open. A voice, low sing-song, drifted between the stalls. "Welcome to the hospital. Welcome to the hospital. You can come, but you can't go." Knocking. Stall by stall. Closer. A hand rapped on mine. I saw boots under the door, motionless. "Is anyone there?" the voice growled. "Open up! Don't be shy!" It was playful, then desperate. "Come on, Jake, I need your help." My breath caught. How did he know my name? I stayed silent, frozen. The boots didn't move. Finally, the voice hissed through the crack. "See you soon, Jake." Silence. Footsteps fading. 10 minutes later, the screaming stopped. I forced myself to leave the stall and stumbled back to the ICU. The lights flicked back on. I didn't linger. I sprinted to the security room, locked the door, and collapsed into my chair, drenched in sweat. It was nearly 1 a.m. I skimmed the rules again. I'd done everything right so far. Barely. Rule 5. The general ward. I wanted to ignore it, but after what I'd seen, I wasn't about to break the rules. I crept up the stairs to the second floor, forcing myself to peek into each room. Sick, wounded people lay sleeping, hooked up to beeping machines. Coughing echoed down the hallway. Harsh, ragged. I followed it to the last room. An old man sat upright on his bed, coughing so violently I thought he'd choke. He saw me and rasped, Water." I nodded, bolted to the cafeteria for a cup, and brought it back. He gulped it down like he'd been dying of thirst, then slumped back, breathing easier. "Thank you," he whispered. "You're welcome." I turned to leave. His voice stopped me. "Where are you going? Sit with me." A chill prickled my spine. I remembered the rule. Do what they ask, but ignore any conversation. I sat beside him stiffly. He leaned close, his eyes dark and hollow. He whispered, "The surgeon did this. Stuffed cinnamon down my throat. He's still here, you know. If you follow the rules, you might survive." I nodded, muttered thanks, and backed out as soon as he fell silent. On my way back to the security room, I heard something crash on the floor above. I didn't look. The rules didn't say to look. Inside the security room, I locked the door behind me and collapsed into my chair, trying not to cry. It was almost 2 a.m. 4 hours to go. If I did everything right, maybe, just maybe, I'd make it out alive.